Welcome everybody to my senior capstone project. For my project for this past semester, I decided to comprehensively edit the first book I ever wrote, called Ruby, which I wrote in middle school. And I have consistently rewritten and edited it up until this point, but this is the first major overhaul I've done to it for a while. It's the first book in a fantasy series that I've been cultivating since I was young, and hopefully I'll be able to continue this process with the other books in the series. My capstone project consisted of taking my first book of my series, which there are 4 books in the series right now. And the first one is was the most unedited and the one that had been rewritten the most number of times. So I chose to take that first book, Ruby, and aggressively edit it. I did developmental edits, line edits, grammar corrections. I did plot edits. I did some character development for some characters that I had not fully fleshed out before. I added about 11,000 words over the course of the semester throughout all of those edits. And I made 2 new maps to go with the book. Scheduling out such an intense project was really useful to me. I was able to leave myself time to edit more thoroughly, so I wasn't making everything perfect the first time around and stressing myself out needlessly. It let me make time for other work, and it let me schedule when I was writing, so I didn't necessarily have to throw in a time to write last minute. It was very helpful in making sure that I personally had enough time to sit down, work on things, and plan things out so that I had certain things like I would do 1 week of read-throughs and edit sections, and I did a week of character development, and so this kind of scheduling really helped me with the process of going through this capstone project. A big success I had during this project was making new maps to go along with my books. So I've had maps for these since I wrote these books in middle school and high school, and I had paper maps that were really, really poorly done. And so I decided to overhaul all of them and make them into make them digitally so that I could actually interact with them. There's 2 maps. There's the one on the left is Crystalia, and the one on the right is Asundra. In my world, these worlds are side by side. So presenting them like this is the best way to illustrate that. They're fantasy worlds, which is really fun, but it was really fun to make them and see the outcome and see other people really go nuts for them. So that was a really cool success I had during this project. I'd like to think that during the course of this project I made no mistakes, but I'm sure I made some somewhere. I think perhaps one of my mistakes is that I was very cocky and thinking that when I completed the project, everything was going to be how I wanted it. And now that I have reached the end of the semester, it is not still how I want it, which means that there's inevitably more work to be done on it, which I realized later. I didn't make any mistakes during the process itself that would stop me dead in my tracks. I had no issues in that sense. My only mistake was thinking that when this was done, that it would be everything, that it would be perfect, which it isn't, and this is something I've realized more recently that it's the end of the semester and I will still inevitably have more work to do on this series and on this book. A lot of the takeaways I'll have from this project is in long-term planning, because I have, throughout my time writing all of these books, I have planned them, but this is the first time that I had myself stick to this sort of schedule where I would be writing at certain times or work on specific things at specific days. Before, I knew where I was going, but I didn't quite know how to get there. So I think that's a big takeaway from this, that I can plan these more long term and have less stress doing that, especially in the professional world when I'm going to be working inevitably with on a team with more people, and I can make my creative mind stick. If I can make my creative mind stick to a good schedule and make it so I can work when I need to, and work on my own projects when I need to, and have a successful professional life after college. At least I hope. Thank you everybody so much for watching my presentation on my capstone project. Have a lovely day.